The United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, there's never been anything we've tried we've not been able to do. So remember, as our grandpapa used to say when I walked out of his home when I was a kid up in Scranton, he said, "Joey, keep the faith." And our grandmother, when she was alive, she yelled, "No, Joey, spread it. Spread the faith. God love you all. May God bless America, and may God protect our troops." Thank you, thank you, thank you.
President-elect Joe Biden. Talk about a man fortified by victory, the most forceful he's been throughout this campaign after receiving the most votes ever of any American presidential candidate ever at the age of 77. Boiled down his message to 3 words, he did it: time to heal. That was his message to a nation in the grip of a pandemic. Joe Biden, Dr. Joe Biden, now joining him out on the stage. That was his message to the millions of Americans out of work. That was his message in a time of racial tension, at a time when raw politics is seeping into too many corners of our lives. He says it's time to heal. He promised first and foremost to be a president who will not divide but will unify. Talking now of higher love. He still saw some of the old school politician in him. He couldn't help himself. He walked out onto the stage and called out the 2 senators from Delaware. That's a man who's been running for office since the age of 27, as the rest of his family comes out to celebrate as well. His son Hunter, the target of so many, gets a hug from his dad. Joe Biden never wavered in that love, no matter what was thrown at his son. Kamala Harris's family is out there as well. Mary Bruce, you were out there the whole campaign. We saw a man energized tonight.
It was a Joe Biden like I really have never seen during this campaign. And George, when you take a step back, this has been such a hard-fought year and a half. A campaign completely upended by a pandemic. It is likely going to be a very hard-fought transition and a long road ahead. But tonight was a moment for so many here, that sense of a collective exhale and a moment really to relish in the possibility. That's what seemed reflected so much in the remarks here tonight. That sense of hope that the country can maybe come together, that the country can heal going forward, and that they can perhaps accomplish all of these big things that they are setting out to do. Look, they know that this is going to be very difficult, but tonight is a moment to pause, to take it all in as you see them doing now on this stage, and to think about the possibility and the opportunity ahead.
David Muir, said the first job getting this pandemic under control.
Yes, he's been very consistent on that. He said this is a time to heal America, as you pointed out, George. He said marshal the forces of decency, of hope, and we must control the virus. That was first on his list that he presented to the American people tonight. And what an extraordinary moment tonight for Joe Biden, George. He turned 78 years old in just a couple of weeks. This is a man who has dreamed of this moment for more than 30 years. He ran for president 3 times, but perhaps this is the time for the man to meet the moment. He knows what he's walking into. He said, for those of you who voted for Donald Trump, let's give each other a chance. Let's lower the temperature. Let's see each other, listen to each other. And he said, let's end this era of demonization in America. It ends now. And he will call on Democrats and Republicans to cooperate. And George, this was something he told both of us in this campaign leading up to this moment. That's what he intends to do.
Lindsay Davis, Kamala Harris, resplendent in the white of the suffragist movement, celebrated so many firsts. Daughter of an immigrant, first woman, first black vice president.
And when you talk about the first, you know, there are actually T-shirts that the Biden campaign sold prior to this that said first but not last. That was something that she shared tonight, saying, while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last. She has said in the past that her mother, raising what she called 2 black daughters, even though her mother was from India, that she had told them, you may be the first to do many things, but make sure you're not the last. You know, quite often in politics, it can be perceived as the more things change, the more they stay the same. But for at least tonight, it felt that there was a spirit of inspiration, diversity, certainly as we look at the group that's assembled on the stage there, representation. And again, Kamala, as you said, in her suffragette white, but with her brown skin, which again, I can't emphasize enough, is so important for young girls, particularly of color, to be able to see someone who looks like them in a role that they may aspire for. Both the President-elect and Vice President-elect talked about opportunity. Both talked about black voters coming through and standing up for them, and both talked about healing.
And the word possibilities from both of them as well. John Carl, Joe Biden is a man shaped by loss and recovery from loss. That's where his empathy is rooted in, and it was that loss that he cited when he reached out to the Trump supporters.
He sure did, George, and there is a line in this speech that I think will reverberate. He said, to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as enemies. They are not enemies, they are Americans. That is a dramatic